In 2024, Scarborough introduced an experimental traffic regulation order. To you and me, that means that you're not allowed to sleep overnight in a motorhome, caravan or camper van between the hours of 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. This video is not about regulations, councils or bureaucracy. It's about what happened after that. I know I've already said it, but where are we, Claire?
We're in Scarborough.
Now, if you think about this area, just think about what this road's seen, because it's more than just a park up where you can get a drink or you can look at the sea. How many people do you think have proposed on here?
Oh, hundreds.
How many people's first trip to the seaside were looking at this?
The very first time we saw the sea, even.
Yeah, first time you've ever seen the sea. How many people's broke up on here?
Yeah.
How many people's had the best news they've ever received on here, and how many people's had the worst news?
Yeah. How many dogs have been on the beach for the first time here?
I mean, can you imagine that? Memories of us beautiful dogs that are no longer with us, and came to the beach after they've had the jabs for the first time, came down here. Ice
creams, all sorts of things.
And that's the thing with this stretch of road, isn't it? Because if you're from Yorkshire or anywhere really in the country, if you're from and come to this place, it's such a special place.
Yeah, we love it.
It don't feel that special at the minute because it's so cold. I'm going to get a drink. Do you want a drink?
Yes.
Look at all this.
Sand, seaweed.
It's got everything on it. There's been a big storm, hasn't there?
Yeah, I've forgotten what it's called. It was a name I don't recognise. Garetti or something.
Gallotti or something. Yeah. But it's really torn it up. And when we came through and drove through Scarborough just now, I mean, down by the amusements,
it was pretty bad, wasn't it?
Full of stuff, isn't it? This is one of our favourite cafes, isn't it?
Yeah, we come here on the bike.
I've brought it back, Claire. I've got you some well done.
Thank you, I like mine crispy, thank you.
Yeah, this is the joys of motorhoming, isn't it? You know, where you can come on a day like this and you can sit, we're steaming up a bit on here, sorry about that. You can sit in here, but we can open the curtains.
Look at that.
And I mean, who doesn't like a stormy day at the seaside? But it's probably a bit cold to be out in.
Oh, let's have our sandwiches with the window open like that.
Isn't it lovely?
The curtains, yeah.
I think so. So we're going to tuck into this. I've got bacon and sausage, you've got bacon. And then we're going to carry on with what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Headed for the coast, no telling when or if you're coming home.
Get that fire on. You can get all cosy in here. You don't even have to have your engine on. We've got some LPG. We've had it for about 3 years now and we've not used it because we daren't, just in case we need it in an emergency. We've just been discussing this actually, and there's, you know, we all get into routines, don't we? And when we first started with motorhomes and we rented one, we'd stop off and take it all in.
We stopped off at different beaches and things, didn't we, along the way? And
yeah, and we'd have something to eat and a drink. And last year we kind of stopped doing that just because I think, because we were rushing round and we seemed to do services, campsite, and then walk into town, and then that's it. And we haven't done this, but we're sat here now with us lights on, we've got us heating on, and we're all lovely and warm. The dogs are happy. We've just been to a cafe and got a reasonably priced drink and a breakfast. We could have made his own, but we like to spend a bit of money where we go. We're sat looking at this view. Now, how much would it cost to rent either a chalet or an Airbnb, or even if you could get a table in a restaurant with a view like this? I wonder if caravans used to come on here, whether you could bring a caravan. I don't know, let us know.
I bet you could.
What, and park up with your caravan?
In those days, nobody really, there's no real regulation, is that a fair comment? So in the 70s, I bet you could bring your caravan and whack it up here.
But I wonder what car you'd have, like a Granada.
My granddad had a caravan. I know he's small. There were only small caravans in those days,
They were different, weren't they? They've got a lot bigger. That's one of the nicest sounds in the world, isn't it?
Something very comforting about it.
So why are we making this video? This is a different video to what we normally do. When they brought the experimental traffic regulation order in, I found it quite alarming because I thought it drew a new line. Yeah. Okay? It's where we're used to rules and regulations and you can't do this, you can't do that. But what this did were totally different. This isn't telling us what we can and can't do. It's just saying that if you have one of these vehicles, then you are not welcome between 11 and 7. So this is where I think this thing gets a little bit strange, because caravanners, motorhomers and camper vanners, well, we're not like an organised group, are we? Do you know what I mean? It's like everybody comes from different backgrounds. You know, if you're, and we've all got different outlooks and different beliefs and we get different things from it, don't we? So, you know, there's people like, I suppose us, we got into it because we were working a lot and we needed an escape, somewhere to get away from work. But then there's people that, you know, they want to be out in nature. I'm a bit like that. You know, or you like to visit your history.
I do, yeah.
There's people that like to go away but have the home comforts, you know, where you've got one foot in adventure and other foot in, well,
all the things around
it's my bedding and it's, you know, I know everything's clean. People that don't want to do hotels.
Yep.
You've got people that want to travel all over Europe, and then there's others that don't even own a passport. But that sign lumps us all together. It's an interesting sign to put up.
When I used to come to Scarborough as a kid, we came a couple of times a year, always to this coastline. Great. We'd come, well, I guess we'd come for different occasions. So sometimes with my granddad in the caravan, sometimes we'd come in the car.
Which campsite were it on? Do you remember?
Well, there's one called CD Nullis, but it's gone now. I have looked for us to go.
Is that where you used to go?
CD
What
Nullis.
did you have, like a touring caravan then?
Yeah, it was the smallest caravan in the world and there was loads of us in it, but it didn't matter at the time. It was wonderful. It didn't have a proper toilet, it was just a bucket, actually. I've been in those slots with like a couple of two pence, you know, oh, I'm going to win money today, you know, that kind of thing. The excitement. And when my parents would say, oh, Claire, we're going to Scarborough, we're going to the seaside. Whoa, like off the chart excitement, sat in the car, ooh, so excited. So it's got so many memories for me, and, you know, and I think most people our age have got similar memories.
My vivid memories of it is walking down Marine Drive, especially in a storm, and just that excitement and maybe getting splashed by, you know, waves and all that. And then just all sorts of stuff, like things from back in the 70s and 80s that they're just not a thing anymore. Do you remember like when you'd walk into a pub and they'd have a specific smell that you get nowhere else?
Yeah.
That mixture of everything that went off in a pub. And like if you're in an empty pub, it would just, I can still smell it now. But coming here, the smell that gets me is when it used to be actual newspaper with salt and vinegar. Those three things made the most amazing smell.
I wonder why that got stopped then.
Health and safety, hygiene, whatever, you know, these things, they get phased out, don't they? There's neither of us from rich backgrounds, is there?
Nope.
But, you know, that's not about, it's not about money, really, any of that. That's about sights, smells.
Didn't matter to me.
And memories. But, you know, especially nowadays where things, the tight, everything's so expensive, it feels like you can't breathe without having to spend £10. And it's across the board, isn't it? Everybody's feeling it for how expensive things are going. And for younger generation that's coming, or just people that are working, you know, if you're working and you're working hard, why can't you come to the seaside? Why do you have to pay like loads of money? And on here, it gave an option for people to come and experience it without it costing a fortune. One thing I'd say, I mean, and good on the council, that we're not paying to park up now. We're off season.
We're out of season, yeah.
So it's a good incentive to come down. We can park up, you know.
But there's nobody here though in return argument to that. So they're not losing that much money.
No, but would there be less people here? But I mean, we can spin this round. We can go on another bit. You know, we can get sorted out. But I just think that you know, not everybody wants to come and stay on here. Not everybody wants to do like a van life type of thing. Would we stay overnight here? You wouldn't, would you?
No, it's too wild for me.
I would definitely, I would. There's a good chunk of people, for various reasons, that live in vans, they do van life. And some do it for freedom, and some do it because things are so expensive.
Yep.
And it looks like after, you know, we had this staycation movement, got popular, didn't it? And then for various reasons, there's had to be like clampdowns on stuff. It's cleaner if everybody fits in a box. You're this, or you're that, or you're that. You know what I mean?
Well, this suggests to me then, if you're a motorhomer, you're going to ditch your waste next to the road there.
You're trouble causer.
We don't.
Is that what it's saying?
We don't do that.
If you've got a what does it say on that sign? Motor vehicle.
It says motor caravans.
Motor caravan.
So could I sleep here in my car overnight? That isn't a motor
Well,
caravan.
what's the definition of a motor
I
caravan?
don't know, I'd have to look that up.
I'm going to have a look. A motor caravan, legally defined by the UK's DVLA, is a motor vehicle adapted for living with permanently installed equipment like seats, sleeping areas, cooking facilities and storage.
So I could sleep here in my car then?
Well, this is really interesting, actually. So it's got to have key requirements for classification.
Okay.
So it's got to have internal features, seats and table, permanent installation. Extra features includes 2 or more windows, and there's extra speed limits. And it's, in simple terms, it's a self-propelled vehicle that serves as a mobile dwelling incorporating essential living facilities permanently within its structure.
Right, I'm even convinced now then that I could sleep here in my car.
So you could sleep here in your
Yeah,
car.
convinced of it now.
You could sleep here in a caravan.
That's got 2 or more windows in it, it's got seats in
It's
it.
not got a motor.
But would you get ticked off by the fact that you could sleep in it?
No, it's got to be a
It's got to have all
motor
of
vehicle.
those things. Okay. I'm not sure. I think they could probably get you for the caravan.
What's interesting about that is that there's a lot of people convert camper vans and then they can't get them reclassified. And they say, no, that's a
that's
a
right.
works van. So if you came in a works van that's not classified
But it's
as
got
a
a bed in the
motor
back.
vehicle because you can't get it through DVLA, well, is that technically not
I'm
that?
sure they'll soon change it.
Is that like a loophole? I don't know. I'm not saying to try it. I'm just saying that that's an interesting fact, isn't it? Because on one hand, they're not wanting you to do that and reclassify it and making it difficult for you to do it. And on the other hand, they're going to bunch you together with something like this, which is what you're trying to get classified for, but you can't stay over, even though legally you're not that they're trying, you're trying to say.
Well, I'm a bit obsessed now with staying in my car. So, for example, if I stayed in my car, because I can, well, I don't have a toilet, I don't have a bin, I don't have anywhere to cook, so I'll make more of a mess.
Oh, that's quite interesting.
Unless I'm not understanding. But I would, wouldn't I? I'd have to cook outside.
Let's have a look at why it came in.
Okay.
Right? So apparently, and when they put the proposal together, they give some evidence, and that's made public. And then there's other evidence where it's not been made public. And amongst
Why?
the evidence that weren't made public were 2,000 complaints about it.
From the locals.
I don't know. There's 2,000 complaints. Now, I think you can find out who's done it through this Freedom of Information Act,
Right.
whatever. But then they can turn around and not give you it anyway, can't they? I think. I mean, we haven't done that because we're not bothering people.
Yeah, so they had complaints.
We would prefer them to empty our bins, but that's a different matter. But
Don't get me started on that.
saying that though, it's not Scarborough Council that empty our bins.
No.
So.
Barnes, you haven't either. Anyway.
Yeah. So 2,000 complaints, and these complaints they were saying that basically what were happening were people were coming down here and they were having fires.
Yeah.
They were hanging washing on hedges. I
Yeah.
can't see any hedges down here.
Not really. There might be some further up.
Unless it means this little banking up here, maybe, I don't know. And
Do we using public tap?
public tap
I don't know where that
and
is.
antisocial behaviour. So I did do a little search for antisocial
Oh, yeah.
behaviour.
Yeah.
And because you can get this crime map up, and there isn't really any down here. But if you look into it, antisocial behaviour reports to the council are different to the police ones. So that it's only if it's a criminal
Okay.
antisocial behaviour, but not to the.
So
you know.
hanging your washing isn't really criminal, is it?
No, it's just annoying somebody.
Yeah. I wonder, there's no real homes on this little section. If you hung your washing out, and I'm not suggesting that you should for 1 minute, but I wonder who that's bothering, because unless somebody's pants fly into your garden, I don't know what the problem would be.
Right, so we're going to come back to the rule itself, because I've got some very opinionated views on it. But before we do that, we need to know how all this started, really. Okay. I've got some notes here because it's all dates and everything. So this experimental traffic regulation order, it was proposed on the 9th of August 2024. Proposed. And then it got introduced on the 25th of November 2024, and it's a trial that lasts for 18 months.
That was quite a quick turnaround then.
Yeah.
Unusual for council.
It bans overnight motor caravan parking between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. in specific locations, including this road.
Yeah.
So daytime parking stayed legal. So it's not about vehicles being there. It's about staying. It's about sleeping. So you can bring your vehicle, any vehicle, and park up, but you can't sleep in it.
Okay.
And the council's reasons, these were the official reasons, is that it was all about safety, fire risk, as we've said, antisocial behaviour, protecting amenity, parking pressure. They sound reasonable reasons, don't you think?
Yeah.
They do, don't they? I mean, I suppose council's job's to make sure that we all function and get on. But this is what I think about it. If the problem was the behaviour, then why didn't they just target that? Once you start regulating who someone is, rather than what they do, I think that's a massive issue.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
This has got nothing to do with actual behaviour. The order is nothing to do with behaviour. It's just saying, if you own a motorhome,
a motor caravan,
you cannot sleep here in it between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. But if you've got a car, you can. So look at that sign there, Claire. It's a big mighty sign, and it says motor caravans. But you could change that over, right?
Yeah.
Because what if it said no guitar teachers allowed here between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. Is that really any different?
No, it's the same thing.
What if it said no rugby players from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.?
Yep.
I mean, you could go on, couldn't you?
Yeah. Is there a word for that?
It's not the people that aren't allowed to stay here, it's the vehicle.
But the vehicle doesn't hang the washing out.
And that's the thing, isn't it? The sign doesn't say anything about behaviour, like the problems. No cooking, that'd cut fires down.
You wouldn't cook.
Yeah. No hanging washing out, because it makes people,
Think twice about that.
Yeah. It makes people feel uncomfortable. They don't like to look at it. It doesn't say any of that. And it seems that you can do any of that in daytime and it's fine.
Well, that doesn't make sense. Maybe we're not understanding this, Andrew.
We might be missing it, do you
what
think?
we're missing, because it just doesn't make sense to us.
So when you look on the news, they talk about the economy. It's always, like councils, I think, if you see local news, they're talking millions.
Yep.
And then if you look at like national news, they'll talk in billions. So many billion for this, so many billion for that. But a place like Scarborough, well, they rely on fivers, don't they? That's their economy. It's like this.
Yeah.
We
12
come,
quid,
we have that.
Spent £12.
So there's nothing stopping us coming over here for breakfast to have this.
Yep.
Okay? But, do we really want to drive from Barnsley to Scarborough on a day like this? If we came for the weekend and there's nobody parked down here and you behave yourself, then...
Well, why should you not?
Exactly, but you probably, stay on here and then you go to the cafe and get yourself a sandwich like that. But if they stop that happening, well, we might be a few fivers down that day. Do you know what happened when they brought it in?
No.
People couldn't stay down here, so they thought they got rid of the problem, right? You're going to get a fine, so obviously you don't want a fine.
No.
And what some people did were, instead of coming down here, they went up into town, onto residential streets and parked there.
Oh, because you could park there.
Because there were no what's it
outside
called?
houses and things.
Yeah, what's it called?
No experimental traffic regulation order, you mean?
Yeah, so ETRO. An ETRO. There was no ETRO up there.
Interesting word, experimental.
This experimental
Yep.
order is coming to an end, and
Ooh.
the council's got to decide what it's going to do.
Okay.
So these are the solutions that are
Okay.
being proposed. So it's to make it permanent. Okay.
Okay.
So that mean no motorhome parking
Motor caravans.
from 11 to 7.
Okay.
And all in the same locations. The locations are here on Royal Albert Drive, Sands End and Caton Bay.
Yep.
I think I said Marine Drive before, but it's Royal Albert Drive, that's
Okay.
where it is. And it is enforced with signage and patrols.
Patrols.
Yeah, like traffic wardens, I guess. So I don't know who's coming out at 11 and 7 a.m, but anyway, that's that.
Okay.
And there's going to be no new facilities and no differentiation by behaviour. Okay, so it don't matter if you're behaving, whatever. It's just
Okay.
a no, not doing it. So, what would that solve? Well, it removes the overnight presence that people can see. It winds some people up, and it reduces resident complaints. I'm not sure which residents, as I say, because there's no
Right.
residents
Yeah.
unless it's just people that live in Scarborough, which obviously this is your hometown. It's got to be respected. Get that. But what it doesn't solve is the displacement into the residential
locals.
streets or the economic loss from overnight visitors to the town. The actual impact has never been really measured. Like, what exactly is it doing to the town by people coming down here and sleeping
Okay.
overnight? That's not being measured, has it? The most talked about solution is like a modification to it.
Right.
And this has been proposed by Scarborough councillors and stakeholders.
Okay.
Yeah, they
What
do
they
this.
are?
This stakeholder thing's big
Yeah.
in it. This is probably
So-
more your world. My stakeholder to me were just like somebody like waitress.
So what is this proposal? Because I'm interested in the proposal.
Well, to allow overnight parking, but in limited numbers. Okay, so
Okay,
it's
so
like,
20 or something.
well, if you think about where is it, like Saltburn, you can go and park up there, can't you? But
Yeah.
if there's, if you can't get in, you can't get in. Fair enough. And you restrict the parking to specific bays.
Oh, so they might say a certain section of the whole road, for
Yeah.
example. Okay, and with 20 bays, and that's it.
Yeah, and then it's reduced to time limited stay, so you can't live here. Have seasonal restrictions rather than year round, so maybe when it's busy, so that people can still come
I
and
see.
visit. So, like in a time like this, there's hardly anybody on this road now. There's
Surely
people
they
going past.
could get
but-
money if you stayed here overnight.
Yeah, and then it says have clearer signage and enforcement focused on misuse.
That's what you said.
Now, to me, that
what you
sounds
said.
like a sensible way forward to me. What do you think? Do you think that that's because then it's like respecting a bit of everything, isn't it?
And then if you do hang your washing out or whatever,
You get done for putting your washing out
Yeah.
if that's not a thing. Yeah, because and that solves that. This ETRO, it were a bit blunt, weren't it? It were a bit like just.
well, can I say it?
Go on.
It doesn't look like it's worked, has it?
Why?
The experiment's failed
Why?
because there's just nobody here and they're all up there.
But it still avoids providing facilities which come at a cost and explicitly admitting that the original problem wasn't evidenced properly. So there's another option, and that's like an air style solution, designated motorhome overnight area. So some town councillors have said this, tourism voices and motorhome groups.
Yeah,
So that's having one or more designated overnight parking
like an air that we stayed
areas and possibly outside the immediate seafront. There's a really nice car park just up here. I don't know if it's part of the hotel, and you've got a view of the sea, but it's big.
It would
and it's
work there,
hardly ever
wouldn't it?
got anybody in. So maybe that might work. I don't know who owns
in.
it.
There's loads of options for the council to make money here.
Yeah, but by doing that, you'd have everything clearly marked, limited capacity, no camping behaviour. Just like if you go to France, you're not
Yeah.
allowed to do certain things, are you?
And we never saw anybody do anything bad in France, did we?
No, they didn't. But the thing is, the French airs are brilliant.
Yeah,
And if you've
they're
never
great.
been to France in a motorhome, you should try
We'd
it.
recommend that.
Yeah, because it's so good. And there's no stress, and you pull up, and a lot of it's automated, which obviously keeps costs down. The reasons why it's politically difficult is because it looks like they're encouraging motorhomes. Like, why would that even be a thing?
I didn't even realise that is a thing.
Why
would you
that
not
be
want to encourage people to come to your town?
That's so crazy. I've just read that. That's the first time I've actually read that because I've put the
If I was in charge of Scarborough, I want people to come to Scarborough, spend the money in Scarborough, tell their friends, come to Scarborough.
Do you know what? I honestly think that if a coastal resort made itself known as really motorhome friendly, I think it'd thrive. I think it'd thrive. So. I think people would go and it would just be, you know, obviously there's campsites, but I mean, if the actual town was motorhome friendly, I think the businesses would thrive.
We've got an example of that.
What?
We went to Chester. Little Rudy car park was massive and it encouraged motorhomes. Remember?
Yeah, and we had a great time.
Rammed.
But the thing is as well, why the air system is difficult is because there's a cost to it and the management. And they're scared that they will get criticism from residents. It says that some residents are saying absolutely no overnight at all. There was a proposal that got rejected, and that was that you could overnight park for a fee, just charge different charge for overnight, or you could buy a permit if you wanted to stay longer.
And that's been rejected.
Got rejected because it would legitimise overnight stays. This is where it gets interesting because they did consider that and they were looking into doing it, but what about the fire spacing? What does that address it? What about the behaviour? Does that address that? Because we're just charging then, we're just getting money. So it's like, well, if you give us money, you can stay. The thing is, that one that got rejected, it keeps coming back up and it keeps being mentioned, and that's because it's easy to implement. You just charge there, you can just program it and you put a different ticket on. Yeah. So that's pretty easy. So that's our deep dive into this e-tro. We wanted to cover it more from the human side, because there are a few people that's looked at it and been down and spoke about, you know, the nuts and bolts of it. But I think it's just, I don't know, I just feel like direction that things are going in. We're going in a different direction now, aren't we? And things have happened so fast over the last few years. And it's almost like there's certain things that are total taboo, and if you say this or do that, and a world of pain opens up on you. And yet, you know, the same people that are putting this onto us can just stick a sign up that excludes a
chunk of
people that has massively reaching implications, and there's absolutely nothing put in place to see if it's worked or not.
Frightening, really. It's
frightening because, you know, on this occasion it's motor caravans, which, you know, we had to look up what a motor caravan actually was, but it could be anything. It could be, even if you haven't got a motor caravan, it could be you next. And what can we do about it?
Nothing.
So I hope, really, that they sort this out. I don't know how they're going to do it or which way it goes, but I just hope that this isn't permanent, because I think it's a sad state, and I think it's just going to put pressure on, even down to motorhome manufacturers. It's difficult as it is to use a motorhome in the UK for what it's intended. You know, you end up going from campsite to campsite with very little in between if you let it. So that's it. Let us know in the comments what you think about this. Different type of video, but we felt like we had to make this with it being a place that means so much to us. Yeah. Fingers crossed they sort it out in a sensible way. We'll see you next time.